You are listening to the Chompcast. My name is Morgan Barnes. I'll be your host today, and I am joined by the crew of Sword Chomp and SwordChomp.com. So that crew has a name. Let's get to some quick introductions. Shay Layton.
Hello there.
Joshua Fowler.
Hey, everyone.
And Anthony Fisher.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, safe intros this week. All right, I'm not going to try to throw me off my game. I'm excited. I got a burst of energy. I'm really excited for this show because this is our last regular show of the year. I'm really excited about this show. It's our last regular show of the year. Our headlining game is The Last Guardian, and we have been talking about it back and forth as friends, kind of just through chats all week long. So I'm excited to talk about that finally on podcast. We've been waiting for The Last Guardian forever. We have Firewatch. We have some Super Mario Run talk. We got some Battlefield 1 talk, which people have been wanting to hear us talk about for a long time. And we have some more Final Fantasy impressions because we're still playing that. A lot of people wanted to hear sort of our follow-up on as we play more Final Fantasy because it's such a long fucking game. It's a really robust podcast. We got some great news topics. Super Mario Run and Pokemon outselling Call of Duty are just some of the cool topics that Fish is bringing to the table. It's gonna be an awesome show. I'm really excited about it. So let's get to some introductions. Fish, the newsman, last regular podcast of the year before we get to our Game of the Year shows. How are you doing this week, sir?
I'm doing great, sir. Doing just dandy, I guess. My week's been kind of slow, I guess. It's kind of dead at my job, but I did some Christmas shopping over the week.
Getting all the family gifts and all that good stuff out of the way?
Yeah, got my daughter all the presents that we meant to get her. So you could tell she's definitely spoiled because she definitely has the most presents of us all here at this household.
I know. As you get older, it's just like they go. That's the coolest part of being a kid is when they see all those presents under the tree. That's like,
Yeah.
It's just that even if they're not even great presents, like I do this cheap trick that you guys will probably laugh for. I buy like a couple big things, and then I just go to the dollar store and get like $15 worth of just shitty dollar toys, and just wrap it up so my tree is just exploding with toys, but they're all fucking dollar store toys.
It's part of the wonder because you don't know what's exactly in there, so just seeing that many stuff around there is just like it sets your hopes up high, and you always want to do that, especially for little ones.
It's all about the wonder of Christmas, the magic. Speaking of the wonder and the magic, Joshua Fowler joining us this week. How are you doing, Josh?
I am wonderful in magic. Thank you. Not enough people realize that, but I am a magical bastard. So
you are one magical bastard. Mm-hmm. I realize that, Josh. We all do, and I'm just giving everybody super happy intros today. But yeah, how was your week, Josh?
Pretty good, I guess, for the most part. I played The Last Guardian this week, though, so I mean, there's only so good the week can be.
It was a good week except for that whole man. We can't blow our lid too early on that. But let's just say it's been a contentious week in the chat. With Josh trudging through The Last Guardian, which is kind of funny because I remember the first day you bought it, I think you were like driving and it was raining and you picked it up and you sent us a little video of yourself holding the game and you're all excited, and then it was just like, oh fuck, Last Guardian has arrived, the reality of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'm excited to talk to you. I'll be excited to talk to you about it. We'll see how that goes. Kind of back and forth. Shay has been super excited about The Last Guardian. The professor, Mr. Shay Layton, is here this week. How are you doing, Shay?
I'm good. It was a very lengthy week of gaming. I have a lot of gaming to talk about. I played Battlefield 1, Dead Rising 4, Last Guardian, and a special secret game I'm going to tell you guys about after we're done with all the regular shit.
Oh,
I didn't tell you guys about it, so yeah.
Just told us there was a secret. Is it a secret game we've all played before, or no? Can you give me a teaser?
I don't know. Maybe I would probably think Josh may have or has played something in the series. I wouldn't be too shocked if you and Fish had never played.
Okay. And you have been, I know, enjoying the last. Well, I think enjoying the Last Guardian for the most part. I guess we'll.
Yes and no. Definitely right before we started recording the podcast, I was trying to play and I fell asleep. About six times. But that's no indication of the overall perspective of the game. Just
the fact that you're not getting any sleep at night. So
clearly.
Well, if it's all that late night binge porn, Shay, you gotta slow down on that, man.
Can't stop watching the all new Final Fantasy 15 porn over and over again.
It is the craze that is sweeping the nation. I know all about that from Fish. Been sending me little videos all week, haven't you, Fish?
Dirty little man.
I'm calling you out.
That wasn't actually the Final Fantasy porn he was sending you, Morgan. That was.
I don't care what it was. I liked it. Fish can send me anything. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna make up all these outlandish claims that Fish is doing all these things and sending me all these terrible things, and he's really not. Just to embarrass him on the podcast and catch him in one of those weird moods. Is that okay, Fish?
Yeah, that's fine. Just know that you can't trust 100% of the words that come out of Morgan's mouth, I guess.
No. I mean, that's the best part of having a podcast. You don't want people who actually are going to give you knowledge and facts if you're having a podcast. You need to fill people's minds with bullshit.
No, of course not. We don't have a podcast like that.
Yeah, no. We're not trying to give people insightful conversations or anything. But yeah, so I mean, that kind of...
brought to you by the RNC.
Aw. I just like to say aw, even if I don't really mean it. I feel like aw is a good response to half the things you say, Josh. Aw.
It probably is.
This is built into my programming at this point. But yeah, so I mean, that's a good segue. The Last Guardian has kind of enveloped today for me. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy all week. I was going to tell people as far as my week goes briefly, hopefully I sound a little better. I got my closet, my dream podcasting closet is now decked out with all sorts of comforters and padding, and it's real cozy. I'll try to get a picture up of it on Instagram because it's just a real cozy place to podcast from. But I went to my local rental store today and picked up The Last Guardian, so I got to put about 3 or 4 hours into it as well. So yeah, and hopefully Fish will hang with us there. He didn't get a chance to play this week. But I know he's been really curious about it. So, Fish, if you want to chirp in about anything, let us know. I know you've been curious to try, but just haven't been able to lay into it.
Yeah, definitely.
But so as we kind of alluded to earlier, here's the thing with this game. Really interesting. I'd say one of the more divisive games of the year, along with No Man's Sky, just because of the hype and the fact that it's been in development for basically 10 years. And of course, the creator of The Last Guardian is famous for creating a lot of beloved sort of cult classics or classics, depending on how you view them. Shadow of the Colossus and Ico, however you pronounce it. And this game has had a lot of hype, but it's just finally out. It exists, as you probably heard ad nauseum, so I don't want to beat that to death here. Josh, I think this is a good starting point for the conversation because I didn't get to play it till today. But Josh, you seem the most excited about this as someone who went out and bought it day one. And you also seem the most disappointed with the game from what I've gathered. So, what's going on with The Last Guardian?
I mean, I think honestly what's going on with The Last Guardian is it's a 10-year-old game. They've been working on it for a long time, and I don't really feel like any of the problems we have fixed in gaming have been applied to this game in that 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it does. It feels like a 10-year-old game. Just kind of I don't know.
Yeah.
Polished up and stuck on a PS4. So
yeah, so I know it's kind of a loaded question. Just dump it all in your lap. What's the deal with The Last Guardian, Josh? But yeah, so it feels old to you, like dated in a way, not like you'd go back and play a game that's 10 years old and you feel like it still holds up over time. It sounds like you're not feeling that way about this.
I'm really not. I mean, part of the reason that this creator's games have been as loved as they were when they first came out, the first two games, was that they did things that no one had done before. They had their flaws. They were a little bit janky here and there, but they were trying new things, and for the most part, they worked out. I mean, Eco did, world building better than anybody else had at that point, because everywhere you see, you end up going. It really gives you a sense of place. You're exploring this castle, trying to find a way out, and anytime you see something interesting way off in the distance, you know you can eventually get there. And that hadn't really been done. People were making 3D games, but not really in a way that made exploration just feel as good as that game did. And then
I know you're a big Eco guy.
Yeah, and then Shadow of the Colossus came out, and they didn't have any enemies except for the bosses, which is, really they pared down the game to what was the most important part of it, is the bosses. That's what they were going for. It was the story they were trying to tell, and they didn't pad it out. And that was, especially at the time, something that every game was doing. There's collectibles here, and that's continued to this day. I mean, with every game has achievements now, including The Last Guardian. Just like there's just crap everywhere. It's nothing ever gets cut from games anymore. It's kind of ridiculous. And then,
there's crap everywhere.
Yeah, and then the Shadow of the Colossus went there and made a game with just bosses, did them really well, and put all their attention into that, and it worked. It worked really well, and because of that, we've got games that are allowed to be focused now, instead of throwing everything in the kitchen sink into them. So, I mean, both of those games ended up really shaping the industry in positive ways, even if they had problems. And The Last Guardian, I feel like, doesn't do anything new or interesting, but has all the problems that we had in the other one. So it's just, you don't feel drawn to keep going through the game to see what new cool ideas are in there. Because, I mean, the platforming is not great. The whole traveling around with the sidekick thing is not really that great. And both of those things have been done so well since this game started being made. I mean, The Last of Us basically just wrote the book on how to do a sidekick character that you're just gonna really make a connection with.
Well,
I think that, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's doing anything new to justify all the rest of the weird decisions in the game.
How would you respond to Josh's sort of opening thoughts there, Shay?
I can't really speak to Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, obviously, because I've never played them, sadly, and I know I need.
What? You've never played Shadow of the Colossus?
I know I need to remedy that. But anyways, starting this game, I was pretty excited because it felt like a PS2 type adventure game, and I was pretty into it at first, and then as you go through, just a lot of the complaints that have kind of been aired out by people ended up being true. Like, you start noticing that Trico isn't anywhere near an excellent NPC. He gets incredibly annoying at times. I spent 15 minutes yesterday trying to get him to jump to the next platform, which he's supposed to do automatically. And you eventually get a set of commands that you tell him where to jump, and they weren't working. So I sat there for 15 minutes trying to get him to jump up. And that's something that is not that drastic at times, but just the interaction with Trico there is not perfect, and it definitely feels dated, unfortunately. And to what Josh is saying, had this game come out when it was slated to, it would feel like this original idea, because honestly, I did feel, and I still do at times, feel an emotional connection with Trico. I really do. I think it's a great idea, basing your interactions off of what he's doing, because he basically protects you and you're the one getting through this world, and he's